What's going on, superhero fans? And welcome back. So guys, today we're breaking down episode 7 of season 5 of The Boys, and honestly, this episode was absolute chaos from start to finish. If the previous episode was the calm before the storm, then after this one, yeah, we are completely cooked. Because this episode wastes zero time. It opens with pure tension as Homelander finally decides he's done playing games. No more manipulation. No more pretending. He wants full control now. And his first move is terrifying. He personally tests the loyalty of the President of the United States. Now obviously, any normal human standing in front of an unstable god like Soup is going to act loyal out of fear. But that's the problem. Homelander doesn't want fake loyalty anymore. The second Ashley confirms through mind reading that the President is only pretending to support him, Homelander instantly eliminates him. And that scene changes everything. Because the show basically confirms that power means nothing anymore unless Homelander allows it. The President, supposedly the most powerful man in the country, becomes completely helpless in front of him. Homelander walks into the White House, removes the leader of the free world, and nobody can stop him. That's how far gone this universe is now. Meanwhile, while Homelander is taking over the system publicly, Butcher is quietly preparing his backup plan behind the scenes. And this plan specifically exists for one reason: in case Homelander ever took V1. This part is actually really interesting because Butcher starts studying old Russian files and tapes about Soldier Boy's blast ability. Because up until now, Soldier Boy's radiation blast is still the only power in the series capable of permanently stripping Soups of their abilities. So if Homelander has now become even stronger with V1 flowing through his body, then the only logical counter is recreating that same type of energy. And this is where Kimiko steps forward and insists that she should be the one to use the ability. Emotionally, it's a strong moment. But logically, it does feel a little convenient. Because if Soldier Boy's blast was always the perfect counter against Homelander, why did nobody seriously try recreating it earlier? This possibility technically existed all the way back in season 3. So it feels slightly forced that the solution suddenly appears only after the situation becomes completely hopeless. But from a storytelling perspective, you can clearly see why the writers brought it back. Homelander's V1 upgrade made him almost unbeatable, so they needed an already established weapon that audiences would accept. And honestly, there's also an argument that this power should have gone to Mother's Milk instead. Think about it. MM's entire life was destroyed because of Soldier Boy. So if he ended up wielding the exact same destructive power, but for the opposite purpose, that would have been incredibly poetic. At the same time, though, it may have felt repetitive. We already saw Butcher temporarily mirror Homelander with laser vision through Temp V. Giving Soldier Boy's power could have felt like the show repeating the same, become the monster you hate theme again. So in the end, Kimiko probably makes the most emotional sense, especially after what happens later in the episode. Because this episode also delivers one of the biggest emotional punches of the entire season, Frenchie's death. And honestly, this death needed to happen. Not because Frenchie was a bad character, but because the stakes finally needed to feel real. For multiple seasons, most of the main cast has survived impossible situations. But this close to the finale, somebody major had to fall, or the tension wouldn't feel genuine anymore. And the best part is that Frenchie's death doesn't feel random. It isn't just shock value. His entire character arc has been built around guilt, especially in seasons 4 and 5. He's been running from his past, from the terrible things he's done, and from the people he failed. So when he sacrifices himself, it feels like he's finally trying to redeem all of that. It's tragic, but it's meaningful. And that's when The Boys is at its best, when the character moments hit harder than the violence. After Frenchie's death, the episode becomes even darker, especially with Deep's complete mental breakdown. After killing Black Noir in the previous episode, Deep immediately confesses everything to Homelander. And the craziest part? Homelander barely even cares. He reacts like Black Noir's death means absolutely nothing. Then he drops another bombshell. He's officially disbanding the Seven. And Deep completely falls apart. For multiple seasons, this guy has desperately wanted one thing: validation. He sacrificed his dignity, morality, and identity just to stay loyal to Homelander. But in the end, none of it mattered. Homelander instantly shuts him down and basically tells him he's insignificant. And honestly, this might be the most tragic Deep has ever been. Later, we see him drinking alone and trying to talk to sea creatures again. But even they reject him because they blame him for the pipeline disaster. He's literally warned not to enter the ocean again or he'll die. That realization is brutal. Deep no longer belongs anywhere. Humans don't respect him. The ocean rejects him. Even Homelander doesn't value him anymore. And then the episode twists the knife even further. A man starts drowning right in front of Deep. This is his chance to finally be a hero, but he refuses to help because he's terrified of dying himself. So he just stands there while people watch and mock him. And that moment completely destroys whatever was left of his character. Not because he failed, but because he chose himself over doing the right thing. It's total moral collapse. And honestly, his fate might end up worse than death. He may survive the finale only to live a meaningless existence where he belongs nowhere. Now moving to the boys versus Dognot and Sharon fight sequence. Visually, the action is actually pretty solid. The choreography is intense, and the chaos feels real. But story-wise, it does feel a little strange that these characters survive this deep into the season. They don't really feel important enough to still be around this close to the finale. However, the biggest highlight here is absolutely Kessler's return, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Every time he appears on screen, the entire scene instantly becomes more intense. His presence alone changes the energy. His main goal here is mentally breaking Huey by exposing Butcher's darkest secrets and emotionally destabilizing him. But honestly, the reveal doesn't hit quite as hard as intended because everyone already knows Butcher is deeply messed up. Neither the audience nor the characters ever viewed him as a good person. Still, the tension keeps escalating, especially once the shapeshifter angle enters the story and the episode starts building chaos from every direction heading into the finale. And now talking about finale predictions. At this point, Butcher's death honestly feels almost guaranteed. Even if the show doesn't follow the comics exactly, Butcher's entire arc has always been built around self-destruction. He's sacrificed everything, physically and mentally, just to reach Homelander. So if he finally succeeds in defeating him, it's hard to imagine him surviving afterward. He's not the type of character who peacefully walks away into a happy ending. On the other hand, Huey and Starlight surviving actually feels very possible, and honestly, it would make sense emotionally. Because the entire story started with Huey. He was just a normal guy dreaming about a normal life before a train destroyed everything by killing Robin in a single second. So if the series ends with Huey finally finding peace again with someone he truly loves, that would create a perfect full circle ending for the show. Overall, this episode is clearly setting up what could become the most brutal and emotional finale in the history of The Boys. The stakes are at their highest. No character feels safe anymore. And honestly, after this much build-up, expectations for the finale are massive. So now I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Butcher's death is inevitable? Will Homelander finally be defeated? Or do you think the story is about to become even darker? Drop your predictions in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more daily superhero content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next upload.